Greetings, everyone. This is Cassandra-Floyd, formerly known as the Rogue Black, or formerly known as moyendekreations, also known as the Rogue Black Girl. And this is it. I'm a little late because we had some crisis management to do today, but I am here with the reading of the last chapter, chapter 52 of The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. Let me fix my blinds. My blinds want to act up as soon as I get started. All right, so this is it. So, like I stated yesterday, we'll be finishing up the read today, and then next week. As a matter of fact, let me check my calendar really quick. I believe it's actually this Saturday. We will start the book club. This Saturday, July 2nd, I will start to facilitate the book club. So, what I'm going to do over the next few days is go ahead and develop the Zoom conference, post the information on the Facebook group, and if you are interested in the Facebook group and you're tuning in from YouTube, you can go into the descriptions and you can see the link to the Facebook group in the descriptions. Yep, it's the last chapter. We made it through 52 chapters, baby. So, but I have some other readings in store for us in the future. I just got some really dope books, actually, some of the reference books from the Great Cosmic Mother. So, one of the books is by Mary Daly, two of the books. One is called Pure Lust, and the other is called Beyond God the Father. I believe that's the name of it. Anyway, so she is one of the authors that is referenced several times in the book. So I'm excited to get started on those. I just got those yesterday. So anyway, today is it. It's kind of melancholy. I don't know. I'm kind of sad that this is the last chapter, but this is it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. You might hear some noise in the background. My grandkids are here, and so yeah. But we're gonna barrel through today. So chapter 52. For those that are joining late, this is Cassandra-Floyd. And I am reading the last chapter of The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. This is the last chapter, chapter 52, Respell the World. Witches cast spells, not to do evil, but to promote changes of consciousness. Witches cast spells as acts of redefinition. To respell the world means to redefine the root of our being. It means to redefine us and therefore change us by returning us to our original consciousness of magical evolutionary processes. This consciousness is within us, in our biology, and in our dreams. It works on subliminal levels, whether or not we are aware of it, because it is the energy of life and imagination. When we are aware of it, it works for us as the energy of destiny. And it is powerful with the genuine power of biological life and cosmic imagination. Perhaps ancient women had access to psychic and physical powers we have forgotten. Ancient people of both sexes living under the Stone Age Great Mother, like those remaining of Earth's primal people today, had magical powers of telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, teletransportation, of firewalking and shape changing, of healing and building, not because such powers were pagan superstitions or of the devil, but because they are natural powers of the earth itself. We know that the psychic, physical, spinal techniques of illumination used by yogis and mystics, technical powers that lie dormant within all of us, were first developed by women as natural modes of communication with the larger self, the earth, and the cosmos. During the later Paleolithic and throughout the Neolithic, sexual and spiritual powers were fused through the techniques of meditation, the use of natural hallucinogens, and the spiraling mandalic dances of creation and dissolution within the great caves, labyrinths, and stone circles. The energies generated by these techniques became power used to the benefit of all, which is the only way power can safely be used. Ancient legends speak of winged radiance of those who have achieved the dynamic equilibrium, the ecstatic union of the currents, which is the description of those who have raised evolutionary energy in the form of Kundalini, the cosmic serpent, up through the spinal world tree of all manifest being until it reaches the highest chakra of the human mind, becoming winged illumination. These beings were called the undivided ones of original gynandrous consciousness. With such powers, perhaps, mountains could be moved. Truly, great earth mounds could be built, great stones lifted and transported for miles, underground temples carved out of rock without the use of metal tools, i.e., great acts of physical construction could be performed without force or slave labor, as expressions of a common consciousness and a common will. Woo. More important, more important acts of mental construction were performed, which allowed people to live together harmoniously in meaningful and exciting intercommunication with all the creatures of the earth, with earth itself and the energy beings of moon, sun, planet, and the stars. The time when the mountains sang and the rivers clapped hands, or perhaps the numinous terrestrial time when all human beings were able to live harmoniously and consciously together as magic children within the living body of the cosmos. Perhaps. We do not know. We can only look at the evidence and imagine. We know only what we can imagine. We know only that we can imagine, as no other creature on earth can do, signifies our uniqueness, both its quality and its purpose. We are the imagining animals. We are the ones who participate in the earth's evolutionary process of imagination. For what is every manifest life form and activity on earth if not the product of the earth's imagination? Imagination, which is a form of memory moving both forward and backwards in time, i.e., the creative process itself. Perhaps the greatest harm patriarchy has done to us is to stifle, co-opt, and deform our powers of imagination. Moralisms, dualistic dogmas, repressive prohibitions block our imagination at its source, which is the fusion of sexual and spiritual energies. Patriarchal religions keep this fusion from happening. Imagination dies and is replaced by mechanical linear thought patterns, i.e., indoctrination. Human beings crippled in our imaginations or no longer able to live in the terrain of dreams are human beings undergoing indoctrination, exploitation, and colonization. Soon, the only way to get there anymore is via drugs, drunkenness, madness, or vicariously through the art and entertainment industry. Art and entertainment media, patriarchy is an anti-evolutionary and anti-magic force. By cutting us off from our long evolutionary history, and in particular by dishonestly teaching us that our pre-patriarchal ancestors were immoral savages or stupid, unrealized beings whose lives were only nasty, brutish, and short. It blocks our access to our own blood history. It cuts us off from millions of years of creative, evolutionary energy stored up in our genes, our genetic memories, the powerhouses of imagination. It lies to us about who we are by telling us lies about who we were. Woo! It changes us from magical to sinful in order to make us believe we need patriarchy to save us from our own selves. By cutting us off from magic as a natural property of Earth, as a conscious form of biological energy, patriarchy further tries to make us dependent upon its mechanical systems and definitions as the only modes of life that work. In its denial of magic, patriarchy creates objectivity as the only legitimate mode of knowledge. Objectivity, as we've said, is a spectator sport based upon the illusion that the observer is outside the phenomena being observed. The objective observer denies his participation in the observed phenomenon by virtually killing it, by making it into a dead thing. Thus, all objective information is analogous to autopsy studies done on a corpse. Patriarchy has to render and redefine the entire earth and all its creatures as dead things in order to sustain its pretense of possessing objective information about all of us. Objective information, as Foucault has shown, is merely a tool of control and exploitation, baby. It is one of the modes of illegitimate power, otherwise known as profit. Subjectivity, we must know, is the only state of existence in the universe. The only state of experienced being is as subject experiencing itself and the world from within. This includes the self experiencing, the self experiencing itself, other subjective beings. There is no such thing as object because there is no thing to experience itself as object. We are only subjects with the illusion of experiencing other subjects as objects. The object exists only and definitively as an aspect of the subjective consciousness, the aspect that defines me and that, and some apprehension of a border between. As quantum physics shows us, this apprehension of a border is a purely subjective one, the kind of border found in cartoons and coloring books, and in the more subtle technology of the human eye. Physically, i.e., in quantum reality, no borders exist. No borders exist in the reality of the spirit either, as the spirit is a conscious perception of real energy fields and interactions. The border perception is a function of the individual's experience of evolution through time and space. To initially perceive the reality of ourselves, perhaps we need the border perception. Infants with immature eyes don't have it. To begin to define the reality of the world, we need to erase it, to transcend it. Everything touches everything in the world. There are no borders. And this is the fact upon which the validity of magic is based, i.e., to objectify us, to divide and conquer us. Patriarchy needs to insist on the reality of borders while denying the reality of magic. Only in this way can we be perceptually, intellectually, systematically separated and thus weakened, while the great healing power of our common bondedness remains repressed. This common bond is no moral sentiment or humanist ideal, but a biological and quantum fact. Its sheer power, when raised from the subliminal to the conscious level, could generate an energy more than equivalent to all the stored destruction of our bombs. For within us is the stored creativity of billions and billions of atoms. We know this. The thing that keeps us from activating our common creative evolutionary power is the perceptual and intellectual habit of separateness, i.e., 4,000 years of patriarchal ideology. All patriarchal religions have their mystics, and many of them come forward now to offer humanity a spiritual solution to our human crisis. But all these solutions occur within the terms of the problem itself, i.e., they are more examples of patriarchy perpetuating itself. Male mystics within patriarchal cultures and systems can never reach a true fusion in the depths of their beings of the sexual and spiritual powers. Patriarchy's pejorative definitions of sexuality and abstract definitions of spirit prohibit this fusion. Patriarchal mystics are out of resonance with the earth spirit, with ecstasy, and with the dead. Come on, y'all. Most of all, they are out of contact with female energy. Their patriarchal worldviews are based on a biophobic denial of this creative female energy in both men and women. All of us live in societies constructed out of this denial, societies that have attempted for 4 millennia to repress and destroy the bisexual nature of us all. In such nihilistic social energy fields, no real magic can happen. In its place, in the past 2 decades, we have witnessed and undergone many morbid, sad, narcissistic trips. Mystics and all religious people within patriarchal systems must begin to deal honestly with the fact that patriarchy can never, ever be anything other than divided against itself. For this schizoid self division is the basic ontological act upon which it is built. Union or fusion cannot happen within patriarchal terms. It is patriarchy, after all, which deliberately set out to banish and destroy ecstasy. What is ecstasy? It is our original state of being. It is the conscious expansion of the universe into a multitude of interconnected dimensions and forms. It is her dance of being from which all of us were born. Ecstasy is passion self expressed through form. In the case of Earth, human beings and all other creatures and biological and geological activities are the forms. Cosmic energy is the passion. Ecstasy is the source and reality of all we feel, see, and are. So then, why don't human beings exist in a constant state of ecstasy? If ecstasy is the inevitable expression of being, a conscious form or living cell in a cosmic energy sea, why don't we cognize? Why don't we cognize it or feel it? What obstructs almost all human beings beyond the age of 5 from knowing this experience, which is physically indigenous and ontologically rooted in every fact of the universe existing at all? Surely we know the answer. Patriarchal systems tell us that ecstasy is impossible or wrong, except according to its terms, its alienating definitions. But ecstasy, by definition, cannot exist on patriarchal terms. Ecstasy is the complete ontological challenge to patriarchy's explanation of life. Where patriarchal religions and social systems cannot wholly repress ecstasy, they demonize it. Ecstasy becomes an underground or forbidden activity, most often experienced privately, accompanied by guilt, rarely in common, accompanied by the whole world. But in and with the whole world is where we are supposed to feel it. In and with and as the whole world is where our human ecstasy is born. It is the celebration of the recognition that our spirit and flesh are one. It is the human female who was designed by evolution itself as the link between sexuality and spirit, between biological energy and the cosmic soul. It is the human female as the leading edge of earthly evolution who was specifically neurologically structured for the experience of ecstasy. For this reason, the first religions on earth were designed by women, for women, and in celebration of femaleness. For this reason, matrifocal cultures had no reason or need to deny the other, for all otherness was a part of the mother. In ecstasy, all otherness became the self, the one. Ancient women could not have invented because they had no need for paranoid divisions between the psyche and the body, power-hungry manipulations of spirit versus matter, dualistic exploitations of flesh versus soul. There were they were the undivided ones, tapping into unhindered flows of ecstatic energy, which is both spiritual and biological, of earthly soil and cosmic thought together, not needing to tell a lie at the root of things about the origin of life, not needing to maintain this lie by force day and night against the urges of all nature and its consciousness towards the truth. Women's cultures would not have needed to maintain themselves by energy repressive systems, by coercive and punitive surveillance systems based on social castes or economic status or skin color or eye color or dress. Nor would there be any need for hierarchic organizations, tyrannical terrors, or political frauds. All these patriarchal accoutrements are necessary to enforce a mechanical order in the absence of organic order. All these patriarchal machineries are necessary to enforce the repression of common ecstasy, an ecstasy indigenous to all cultures that exist, to realize rather than to deny the one at the heart of the all. A return to the goddess is not a backward trip through space or time. The human race cannot really return to infancy. We are too far gone for that. We return to the goddess by remembering, redefining, and respelling, by turning as in a dance away from one gesture and towards another. Patriarchal ontology is based on a three-dimensional reality. Modern physics is showing us that the universe has not 4 dimensions, but as many as 11 dimensions, perhaps more. The universe is undergoing ecstatic exponential expansion in 11 or more dimensions. Surely 3-dimensional religions cannot keep us in touch with such a universe. If we do not want to die, then we must evolve. And that means we must dance, expand exponentially with the dancing cosmos. We return to the cosmos only by becoming lovers of life, rather than life's victims, voyeurs, and policemen. How twisted we have become within biophobic religions, spending most of our waking hours in grotesque postures of aggression, hurry, hate, self-righteousness, resentment, paranoia, and murderousness. Under the rule of the patriarchal God, we are all gargoyles characterized by rigid poses that reveal mostly all our terrible fears and greeds, eaten away from inside by cancerous needs. To return to harmony, to return to the goddess, to become lovers of the goddess once again, we must realign our gestures into those of dancers. We must become beings who do not wish to control life, but only to listen to its music and dance it. This is not easy to do. It might be impossible, but it is our only alternative to mass death, whether by war or by total global mechanization. The patriarchal God has only one commandment: punish life for being what it is. The goddess has only one commandment: love life for what it is. Women, designed by evolution as the links between spirit and flesh, are perhaps also designed by the cosmos to lead the human world back, now, to the great celebration of the reconciliation of flesh and spirit. Thus, at the very edge of death, we will return to the beginning, that is, at the end of the world, where we must surely be. We will return to the goddess, the great mother of all life, as her magic children. In a round world, the only way for human beings to survive to the end is to return to the beginning. Thus, we complete a circle, but on a spiral, we revolve to a larger circle. Now is the time to make again sacred our experience. Which power, it is said, cannot truly die, since it is a real power of the real cosmos. It can't die, it can only be forgotten. That means it can also be remembered. As the serpent can be awakened from its tranced sleep at the bottom of the spine and induced to rise, to become again the luminous flying bird of the imagining mind. Once we thoroughly understand how and why patriarchy acquired its power over us, the power of an entrenched mistake over the minds and lives of all people, once we understand and feel clearly that the fight of witch women is also the fight of Earth's people everywhere against mechanical subjugation and exploitation. Once we reestablish the magic link between the individual psyche and the Earth's vital energy flow, between all evolving matter and all evolving spirit, and learn to encourage and teach others to do the same in a loving return to what we always were, perhaps then, in the final time of crisis, the serpent goddess will shake herself loose from the deep exiled sleep in the earth's belly. Perhaps the serpent of life's flowing energy will begin to rise again, all luminous and of the earth, and the children of the Great Mother will rise up with it, and the universe will be our home again as before. This flight is not an escape, but a return. The only way for human beings to survive the end is to return to the beginning. And this is a poem, which is actually a traditional Wiccan prayer. Listen to the words of the Great Mother. She says, whenever ye have need of anything, once in the month, and better it be when the moon is full, then ye shall assemble in some secret place. To these I will teach things that are not yet known, and ye shall be free from all slavery. Keep pure your highest ideas, strive ever toward it. Let not stop you nor turn you aside. Mine is the cup of wine of life and the cauldron of Sedowin. I am the mother of all living, and my love is poured out upon the earth. I am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon among the stars and the mystery of the waters and the desire in the heart of woman. Before my face, let thine innermost self be unfolded in the raptures of the infinite. Know the mystery, that if that which thou seekest thou findest not within thee, thou wilt never find it without thee. For behold, I have been with thee from the beginning, and I await thee now. Blessed be. All right, family. That's it. The end. We have arrived. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo. Let me tell you. Just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece of literature that's such a horrible demotion of what it is. This book is evidence of channeling. This book is the evidence that spirit is always working on our behalf. This book is evidence that our ancestors, whomever they are always working on our behalf. I am going to tell you sometime soon, I hope, I am going to be sharing with you a story about this book that was recently revealed to me by the daughter of Barbara Moore. And I think I mentioned to you, maybe a month or so ago that I had been in contact also with the granddaughter. Sorry about that. With the granddaughter of Monica Zhu. So just really think that it's important to talk about what went into authoring this book, and some of the controversies that exist around the authoring of this book. And I want to do that in an organized way. And so again, I'm going to be maintaining my communication with the daughter of Barbara Moore. I would like to interview her so that she can speak for herself. She was a child when Barbara Moore wrote this book, and I think it'd be best heard from her about her life while her mother was channeling this book. Okay, so that I hope will be coming soon. I'll keep you posted on that. But that is it, my friends. It is, and it only took 30 minutes. So that is the end for those that came on late, the end of the reading of the Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. I will say authored by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Monica Zhu, which is a more appropriate analysis of that. And yeah, so this coming Saturday, which is July 2nd, early, because I know Saturdays are busy times for people. So what I decided on was doing Saturday at 9:00 Pacific Standard Time. And then I'll be open to adjust that. But I did it early so that it wouldn't intervene in people's ability to get out in the world and do what they do on Saturdays. So that'd be 10 o'clock Mountain Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, and 12 o'clock Eastern Time. So, and then, there are people that are tuning in. I have a lady tuning in from South Africa pretty regularly. And then a couple of people tuning in from Italy, and a person that's reached out to me from New Zealand that's been tuning in pretty regularly to the readings. So again, for those that are tuning in through IG, what you're going to need to do is go to my YouTube page, and in the description of any of the chapters of the book, in the description, you will see a link to the Facebook group, which is called the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club, because there's two Great Cosmic Mothers. That is the one that is facilitated by Barbara Moore's daughter. And then the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club is the one that I'm hosting as the central location for the book club, which will be facilitated through Zoom. Okay, it won't be facilitated here. It'll be facilitated through Zoom. And that will begin this Saturday at 9 a.m. So it might be a little chaotic for about a month because I'll still have my grandchildren for a month, but we're still going to fight to make 9 o'clock in the morning be the regular and consistent time for the book club. And so what I'll also be doing is inside the Facebook, yes, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yep. And yes, I will be. So what I'm going to say is I will be posting the Zoom links regularly inside the Facebook group, which is called the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club. I will be posting the Zoom links. I will also be posting questions that we will be entertaining during the book club meeting. So it'll be kind of like, I don't want to say workshop style because I'm not going to be lecturing. The way I'm going to be facilitating the book club is, and I'll do that too in the book club page on Facebook. I will share with you how I have the book divided over the next 14 sessions that will be together. And so those chapters and those sections are what we'll cover. And then what I will do is I will have some questions posed for the discussion as prompts to lead the discussion on Saturdays. And also I will be posting quotes regularly in the Facebook group, things that I feel like we should draw out because it's so deep. It's so deep. It could take us a year just to do this book club in an efficient way, I feel. But we're going to do it in 14 sessions. We're going to start on July 2nd and we will end before the end of December. That's how I have it mapped out. Okay. The first and third Saturday of every month. The first and third Saturday of every month is when we'll be doing these gatherings, if you will. And also, I wanted to share with you, I wanted to segue because I am doing this for free. I just read a 52 chapter book for free. Of course, I take donations. All of that information is in my description. The book club, I am also facilitating for free. So I will be plugging myself very regularly, calling on people to contribute because there is a shit ton of study that has gone into this process, just so you know. So in the meantime, to encourage people to support my shit, I will give you homework regularly. That homework is and will be the same for forever. If anything that resonated with you in the reading of this book, in the reading of specific chapters, I will call on you to copy and paste that link into all of your social media, your IG, your your IG, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, all of it. I will encourage you to make clips of these readings, right? Like YouTube clips, and turn them into reels in different social media platforms to drive traffic to my page. I am still delinquent several hundred followers and several hundred watch hours before I can monetize my channel. All I need is for people to follow, like, subscribe to my stuff. And even if you can't watch it visually, that's fine. I'm not doing anything great. I know I'm cute and shit, but all you got to do is push play and clean your house. I get the watch hours, you get the information without having to sit and watch my pretty face for an hour and a half. I think that's a fair trade. So encourage people to do the same. Play it while they're driving their car to work in a traffic jam. They don't have to see me to get the message. You feel me? I don't know that I'll ever do like really punchy, cute, flashy, dynamic videos. I may, but for right now, it is the word that we need, right? It is the essence that we need. So copy and paste my stuff into all of your social medias, right? Take clips regularly of the readings or of any of the other Facebook YouTube posts that I've made about America's First Pluto returns, which is significant right now, right? Right now, everybody's up in arms about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. I would encourage you all to go back to the chapter on the machine and make clips of the information around the history of abortion, the history of abortion laws, and the role that it plays in the machine. You understand? Those clips could be valuable right now, right? So that's one thing. Support me that way, right? I mean, I know we're all going through the thing economically, so that's fine. If you ain't got no change, you've got 5 minutes that you can spend copying and pasting my stuff into your social media and turning people on to what it is this word is trying to communicate in this day. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is I am also an artist, among other things, and so I would encourage people to purchase my stuff. Okay, I shut down my Etsy page. I'm actually working on a website where I can like streamline everything, but I make customized jewelry. So this jewelry is my it's African ancestor revolutionaries, all ancestors, right, who fought in revolutionary struggles. Ya Asantewaa is on here, Fannie Lou Hamer, Winnie Mandela, Josina Michelle, Harriet Tubman, Bobby Hutton. And so these are wonderful pieces and they last forever. They look charming on. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. I have them I have a goddess piece that I wear very regularly. That's my jam, right? So for those on Instagram, you can see here, right? My ancestor, my revolutionary ancestor piece, right? So if you're interested in my jewelry, this is just one version. I also do wire wrapping, sacred wire wrapping, right? So I have a few pieces here I wanted to share with you today. So there's a story behind every piece of jewelry that you see me wear. There's a story behind it. Okay. So this here is a really wonderful story. This is a hawk's foot. All right. This is a hawk's foot. So on New Year's Eve of 2019, as a matter of fact, New Year's Eve of 2019, I was invited by an indigenous elder to spend New Year's Eve sober. So we drove to Northern California and went to a powwow that began at 10 o'clock and went through like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then, we went outside and looked at the Milky Way or whatever. The next day when we were leaving, on my way home, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I stopped and it was a hawk that had just been like she was still like having, like little spasms. She had just died. Okay. So I grabbed her up, and this was the second animal I ever processed myself. This was the first bird that I had processed. And I consulted with 3 different indigenous elders, and also with the um, Alagba of the Egungun Society in Oyotunji Village, to find out what I needed to do with this bird's body. Anyway, so this was the first time I processed. I also have her wings, but I wrapped her talon, right, after I processed it. So that's a piece, right? And then I also have an alligator that I caught while in Oyotunji. That was the first animal that I processed. So I have one of my alligator's foot wrapped. This is my goddess piece. So these I do in different complexions. These are deer bone from an indigenous woman that I've been working with for many years in Florida. Right. So I get the bones raw from her, and then I color them for different complexions, and I wrap them in different ways depending upon what people want. So this is just a basic chakra wrap with the cowrie shell as her vajayjay, right? And this is my most recent wrap, and to me, like, the great cosmic mother really um, inspired this wrap. So I have, the upward facing triangle represents the masculine energy and the spirit, and the downward facing triangle represents the uterus, the female energy, and the earth, and the two coming together, which is what we are all made of, right? So, and then I have the chakras illuminated. I have the root chakra big, and the crown chakra big, right? To me, it just represents like divine harmony. So, and the coming together of the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. So those I do in like jet black, like ebony. This is kind of a purple bodice that I did. I do dark brown, do chestnut. I do mahogany, and so I color these for different, and then the wire can be colored differently as well. But if you go on my Facebook page, Cassandra-Floyd, and you actually go into my picture folders, I have literally probably scores of hundreds of designs that I've done over the years. So these are just what I have on me. But if you're really interested in ordering a piece, go to my Facebook page, which is Cassandra-Floyd. Go into my pictures, and you'll see in my pictures folders, Moyende Creations hair, and then you'll see Moyende Creations jewelry. I have several jewelry folders. Yes, I do hair too. But go to my pictures folders, and then if you see something you like, you can inbox me, because right now I don't have my Etsy page. I don't know if I'm reopening it, but I would love for you to support my art, and and then also this project that I am working on, that I know, I'm telling you, I did not read this book for no reason. I know that with some other things that I am incorporating into my study, I know that this is the key. This is it. Abasi said here somewhere in the comments, this is indeed the Bible, baby. This is it. So thank you so much for joining me. It's so exciting. So exciting that we finally finished this book. Yeah, it's exciting. So any comments that you have, any feedback that you have, you can still make in the comments on the YouTube. Even though it was live, you can still go back and make comments, ask questions. You can email me at release.heart.center@gmail.com. That's release.heart.center@gmail.com. You can inbox me on Facebook or IG. My IG is release.heart.center. release.heart.center, release.heart.center. And then my other IG, which has a lot of my jewelry stuff on it as well, is Daughter of the Fates, with underscores under each word. So daughters _of_the _fates. Daughter of the Fates. That is it. That is all. We are done. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Cassandra-Floyd. I want to say thank you to my God on earth, Jacqueline Jeanette Futch, for saying yes to my life when she could have said no. For it is she who has given me the ability to fulfill my destiny in this life. With that being said, I want to say peace to the world, peace to the fam, and keep a lookout on my YouTube, because I will be doing other lives on other subjects, and I'll be probably picking up a book to read again here relatively soon, and then follow me on all of my stuff, all of my social media. All right, thanks again. I hope you all enjoyed it. Peace.